Hey, what's up guys? Today we're going to talk about liens and equitable liens. What is a lien? A lien is a legal right granted by the owner of property by law or otherwise acquired by a creditor. A creditor is someone who is owed money. A lien, the purpose of a lien serves to guarantee an underlying obligation, such as the repayment of a loan. So if the underlying obligation is not satisfied, for example, the loan is not repaid, the creditor may then be able to seize the asset that is subject to the lien. So in other words, it's a kind of charge over assets. Now, there are two different types of lien: a particular possessory lien and a general possessory lien. Under a particular possessory lien, a creditor has the right to retain goods until the debt directly associated with these goods have been paid. Under a general possessory lien, the creditor has the right to retain the goods until all the debts are paid. Once executed, a lien becomes the legal right of a creditor to sell the property of the person owing the money when he fails to meet the obligation of the loan or contract or debt or otherwise. So the property that is subject to a lien cannot be sold by the owner without consent of the lien holder, in other words, the creditor. Let me give you an example of a lien. A person purchases a vehicle and pays the seller of the vehicle using the funds from the bank. But the person who purchases the vehicle grants to the bank a lien on the vehicle. It is a charge over the vehicle. If the person does not repay the loan, the bank may then execute the lien, seize the vehicle, and sell the vehicle to repay the loan because the borrower used the bank's money to buy the vehicle. If the person does repay the loan in full, then the lien holder, in other words the bank, releases the lien and the individual owns the vehicle free and clear of any liens, charges or encumbrances. Another type of lien is the mechanic's lien, which can be attached to real property if the property owner fails to pay a contractor for services rendered. If the debtor, the person who owes money, and there's a lien over his property, if the debtor fails to repay the amount owing to the contractor for services rendered, the property can then be auctioned off to pay the lien holder. Now, we're going to talk about equitable liens. What is an equitable lien? An equitable lien is a lien on property imposed by a court in order to achieve fairness, particularly when someone has possession of property which he or she holds for another, or there is an equitable right conferred by law upon one person to a charge upon real or personal property of another until certain specific claims have been satisfied. This usually arises from fraud or unconscionable behavior. The equitable lien differs from an express trust in that it may arise without the necessity of the parties having an intention to create the equitable lien. So therefore, in this respect, an equitable lien appears similar to both the constructive trust and the resulting trust. Constructive trust occurs when somebody does something bad and the law imposes an obligation on him to hold property on trust for another person because of the bad deeds. The equitable lien has been used as a viable alternative remedy to the constructive trust, not only in cases involving a breach of fiduciary obligations and the application of tracing rules. It has also been suggested that the operation of the equitable lien should not be limited to a specific asset, but it should operate as a general charge over the entire assets of a defendant where there was proof of wrongdoing, for example, like fraud. Let me discuss the case of Hewitt and Court. A builder of prefabricated houses agreed to pre-construct a house and transport it to the buyers for practical completion. The purchase price was payable in installments. The contract provided that the house remain the property of the builder until completion. The buyers made the first 2 installment payments before the builder became bankrupt or insolvent. The parties agreed that the buyers would pay for the work undertaken and would take the house in its incomplete state. Later on, the liquidators during the bankruptcy of the builders, were the liquidators who were appointed for the bankruptcy of the builder, argued that the buyers of the house had obtained a preference. The buyers claimed that they had an equitable lien over the house. The majority of the English High Court agreed with this argument and held that the buyers, because they had paid money for the house, had an equitable lien over the incomplete house for the amount of the purchase money paid. So thanks for watching this video on liens and equitable liens.